Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. I'm M.A. Truth. Thank you for joining me for this little video. I'm going to talk a little bit about HOAs and some of the mayhem and foolishness that goes on with them. Thank you for holding. Anyway, I've been dealing with some mayhem and foolishness with this HOA that we live in. I had an incident here recently where the HOA decided to fine us for having a trash can on the side of the property, the side of the house to be exact, in our yard on the side of the house where it's been since we moved in here 5 years ago. The HOA was upset uh, and wanted to fine us $90 altogether because the trash can was on the side of the house. I'm not a fan of HOAs, never have been, don't intend to change that attitude anytime soon. However, the issue was not the trash can being on the side of the house. This was a retaliatory uh, effort on their part because I booked the the company that they have uh, for collecting the utility bills. That company is known as Simple Bills. Simple Bills is based out of the state of Texas. And Simple Bills is a predatory third party, whatever you want to call it. Every state has their own utility or power company. Generally speaking, you pay them for your shit. You don't pay a third party. This third party uh, bills for your electricity, your heat, your water, your sewage, your trash, all of that. Mind you, we're fully capable of doing it on our own, but this HOA and this management company seem to like incorporating simple bills for their associations, for their, where you live at. Simple bills doesn't read the meters. They don't come out and do that. I don't know how they do it, how they guesstimate what your shit is. They probably get the information from the utility companies, and then they add their fees and surcharges onto that shit. Tired of that. But Simple Bills fucked up. They've done it twice, but this time they really went out of pocket. They really reached for the stars on this particular occasion. Back in March, you get your bill at the end of the month previous to. So March bill was $500. Why? The bill ranges, generally speaking, depending on weather fluctuations, between about $280 and $320 something. Why I got $500 on here? So they were contacted and asked, what's this extra $200 that you put on this bill? Well, you've used more of your electricity. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Lifestyle changes in this house have not changed. We are very cognizant of the high bills as it is. So we monitor our usage, especially in the wintertime. No, nothing extra was used. Not paying no $500. Don't have $500 to pay you people. So the young lady said, well, okay. She said, well, we'll work with you. You can pay half now and pay the other half in 2 weeks. Okay, fine. We agreed to that. But Simple Bills did what a simple bill does. They were simple-minded. And somebody thought, well, we're just going to take the money out of your checking account. You do not have authorization for that. You did have when we first started years ago, and I saw how y'all acted then. And how they acted then was simply this. The bill is due on the 28th of every month. Simple Bills will say, well, if you can do auto debit, and we'll take the money for the bill. However, we're going to take it between the 1st and the 5th of the month, even though the bill's not due until the 28th of the month. Found that out the hard way. So I immediately took that off of auto debit. That's been 5 years ago. So you don't have the authority. I have not approved you taking anything out of my account. But that's what they did. The young lady told us, pay half now and then pay 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, the balance of the bill. Not happy, but okay, fine. At least we can eat for the 2 weeks. Well, what happened? She told us that on a Thursday. Monday morning, these Morris boys went and took the balance of that money out of my checking account. You know, we don't play when it comes to our coins. Family and coins. There's two things that you don't mess with a black woman about. You don't mess with anybody about, frankly speaking. But if you want to, go for the ride, then you getting ready to go for the ride. So with that being done, I immediately contacted my bank and let them know, hey, they fraud. They just stole money. Didn't authorize that. And the bank investigated. And the bank found them guilty. You got to return that lady's money because you didn't have authorization for it. Our records show that, blah, 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 and went back over everything. Get that woman her money back. On a Thursday, the young woman said, pay it in 2 weeks. Why is it 3 days later, y'all in my shit? To say I was upset is the least of what one can say. However, what I did in addition to that, because the management company said, well, you have to pay. No. I pay the bill when I have the money to pay the bill, but you don't have the authorization to take money out of my account. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to follow through and do what I do best. I'm going to tell everybody. Okay. I filed a complaint with the Federal Consumers Commission about simple bills. Better Business Bureau, filed a complaint with them, and notified my state representative. Told them about it, and that y'all need to get on top of these people, out of state folk, for being here in the first place, collecting money that don't belong to them. It shouldn't. There should be no third party for your utilities anywhere, let alone one that's out of state. So the HOA got pissed because of all of this attention brought to Simple Bills and Simple Bills complaint. So HOA decided, well, let us drive up and down the street until we find this house, and we're going to cause them some problems. So what they did, they had a moy boy out here cruising. My daughter was watching out the front window and saw this motherfucker back up and took a picture of the side of the house where the trash can was, and has been for the past 4.5, 5 years. It's been there since we moved in. Why would we move it? That's where it was. That's where it's a trash can. We leave it there, take trash. You know what I'm saying? Then we get this notification about fees, a penalty in this fee. How many fees y'all think somebody gonna pay? How long do you think somebody's gonna put up with y'all's bullshit? Someone in the HOA, and this is simply my opinion, is affiliated, associated, whatever you want to call it, with Simple Bills. And because of what I did, they wanted to retaliate against us. and fine us $90 for a trash can being on the side of the house, of which there was no prior notification. Had you notified us and said, well, hey, you can't keep your trash can there any longer. It needs to be in your backyard or in your garage. Okay. Dictating once again. I hate dictators. So we called all of that into question. And now we're in this uproar over a trash can and the fact that the company that y'all do business with fraudulently dipped into my account and got caught and called out, and they had to return the money. The bank said you got to return the money. That's not your money. You had no grounds to take it. You were not authorized, and y'all pissed off. I hate HOAs. I truly do. I hate HOAs. They are despicable. And I don't see the reason, the purpose for them. I had a clip here that I'm going to play as soon as I can get to it, and let you hear what this man had to say. And this woman. And they live in an HOA. Hang on a second. Where at it?
When the community work together, keeping our houses looking good and good for property value.
A big part of an HOA sales pitch is that the presence of the organization can help increase property values.
The board is responsible for protecting property values. For most people in the United States, the single biggest investment they're ever going to make.
There's mixed evidence about whether this is true. A 2019 study found that on average, HOA homes cost at least 4% more than non-HOA homes. That comes out to an extra $13,500. But those property values can vary significantly by location. A different 2019 analysis of 3 U.S. cities found that the home values in HOA areas were less than those in neighborhoods without them. The Innistrosa's property value has increased between the time they bought it in 2008 following the housing crash to 2023.
I don't think that HOA has anything to do with our property value going up.
I feel with the HOA, the management company don't increase the property value. They're just there as employees, the community that increase the value of the property.
HOAs can also be necessary in order to manage shared amenities or land, which can be a value add for homeowners.
There are associations out there that handle all the landscaping. Even though you may own your lot, the association cuts the grass and they do all the landscaping.
No, it's not necessarily a cost savings.
Sure.
It works for those that it works for. Many people who have purchased their homes, they like the idea of being able to do what they want to do in their homes. How many times have you heard someone say, I'm so glad I'm out that apartment or that rental property. I got my own place now. I can paint it up the way I want to. I can put petunias or whatever in the front yard and all that kind of stuff. And these HOAs will tell you, and y'all know it, you've heard it many times. Well, you can't put, for example, you can't put new windows in unless they're the windows that we approve of. Did y'all buy the house? I know that my questions may seem elementary, but I'm serious. Yet I am serious. Did y'all buy the house? Did you purchase this property? Are you paying the insurance on it? Are you paying the taxes on it? What do you mean I can't change my windows? Well, they all have to be uniform. Who are uniform? I'm not in here to be a cookie cutter to anybody. And this is my property. I should be able to do what I want to do. See, some more of this bullshit.
Management companies can help a community function smoothly. Management companies can help a community function smoothly, especially when a board of volunteers needs assistance.
One large company will manage 20 or 30 or 40 HOAs in a region, and they tend to have it down to a science. They know how to deal with trash pickup. They know how to deal with yard maintenance. They know how to deal with complaints. They have their fines and their enforcement down to a science.
Relying too much on a property management company is going to cause problems, and relying too much on the homeowners to run their own association is also going to cause problems.
The management company and the manager are simply a contractor to carry out the board's direction. They may handle all of that routine activity on behalf of the board, but those folks who live in the community and volunteer remain the decision-making authority. The board in that situation is still responsible. They are still the fiduciary. They are legally and financially responsible for the decision-making in that community.
I think that there are times and places for HOAs, and I think that they could be possible.
There you go.
But the abuse
There you go.
negates
The
that.
abuse negates the benefit. How about that? I'm going to bring my boy up, Michael. Let's hear what he got to say.
I've covered numerous HOA horror stories on this channel in the past because I like to warn everybody about what they could potentially be facing and getting themselves into if you buy any sort of home in an HOA community, whether it is a condo with a condo association or a townhome with an HOA, or even just a normal neighborhood like this that has an HOA community, because some of them are actually really great and are run extremely well by really smart and talented people that know how to balance budgets and have sensible rules and laws, but others are just flat out insane. And in my experience as a real estate agent, I mostly dealt with condo associations more than HOAs, but they're all sort of the same thing. And I can tell you that the majority of them are absolutely horrible. Here's a perfect example of it right here. Here's a woman in California who wanted to fix a doorway inside of her condo, and the HOA would not allow her to do it, but she did it anyway. So she went ahead and went against the HOA's rules and regulations. Somehow the manager was able to peek into her apartment through an open garage door, and he saw the renovation happen. And the very next day, she received a notice of a $100 fine for the first day. But then every subsequent day after that would be $500 per day. In other words, $3,500 per week in fines. Can you imagine having an HOA fine you $500 a day for some simple violation like that? And there's so many different things at play here. Like the first thing is, how much of a jerk the manager is to, actually implement such steep fines for something as simple as changing a doorway. Why can't you just look the other way? Like, what do you care? It's not affecting your life in any way, right? But these people, they want everybody to follow the rules.
Follow somebody else's rules in your own shit. In your own shit. There are times when rules are greatly necessary, no doubt. And there are other times when the rules make no sense. And on top of that, you have people implementing those rules who are mini dictators. They don't it's as if they don't have jack shit else to do but to make everybody else's life miserable. Your grass is an inch too high. What you out there measuring with? What you got a little glass that you're looking through to see how high the grass is? I live in a community, unfortunately, that does have an HOA. Had we known that prior to, we wouldn't be up in this, wouldn't be here. But the management company was not immediately forthcoming with that until well after we were here. Point is being, these additional entities that have wormed their way in to the fabric of our lives need to go. Now, for those communities, and again, this is my opinion, that have 55 and up, an HOA could be beneficial to them. But for the rest of us, we don't need you telling us we can't do something within our own property that we're paying taxes on, that we are paying the insurance for, because the HOA is not paying the insurance. You're just there collecting fines. You ain't got jack shit else to do. Nothing. Just like Michael said. Dude, really? You peeking through people's houses, and that's what they do. That's what it may seem funny, but it's not funny. It's not a joke. Ain't nothing cool about it. Nothing at all. I just want to bring people's attention to it. Stop it. I think the state of Georgia is implementing some restrictions on these people because they are just absolutely and totally out of control. Got another one over here. Who else got something to say? HOAs. Let's see what this is. Florida wants to ban HOAs. They should be banned.
Feel crushed when all your loan payments hit at once?
Nope, that ain't what we wanted to do. Hang on.
Your paycheck vanishes. Simple lending helps people just like me
I'll
find
cut it
real
out.
solutions.
Let me ask you all a question. How would you feel if HOAs, homeowners associations, were outlawed in Florida?
Hate your HOA? Well, Florida lawmakers got a plan to get rid of them. All of them. Yeah, he wants to ban HOAs in the Sunshine State.
Yes.
Yep, that's the response I thought I would get from most of you, and you're not alone. More and more homeowners who live in HOAs in the state of Florida are getting very upset with them and fed up. And today we're going to talk about some changes that may or may not be coming to the state of Florida and the pros and cons of HOAs.
And I'm
Florida
sorry, y'all.
homeowners
I'm
say
learning
they've
how to
had
do
enough.
this.
Rising fees, lawsuits, even arrests, all tied to HOAs.
So recent discussions in Florida have seen a proposal floated around by State Representative Juan Carlos Flora to ban HOAs in the state of Florida.
And it might just be time we take a look if HOAs are really even necessary. Maybe we should just do away with homeowner associations as a whole.
And this consideration comes from the backlash of homeowners who are tired of high HOA fees, lawsuits, and over-restrictive rules governed and implemented by many homeowners associations. Now, it's important to note that as of right now, August 2025, there are no restrictions or
Everything he touches turns to sugar honey iced tea. These people who want to be in control of everything, if you took 5 minutes to mind your own business, you'd find that you don't have enough time to be in anybody else's. Simple Bills is the name of the company. They're based out of Texas. Check them out. They are out of control. They are totally out of control. Hold on just a minute. Here they are. Simple Bills, residents and for properties. Utility management made simple. No, it's not simple. It's not simple. These people are thieves. This entity is a thief.